Welcome to another lecture of physics. Last class we had done regarding solids. The characteristics of solids we have taken up, and I have told you that solids have certain characteristics, like they have a definite shape, then they are having a definite volume, and third characteristic was what? That solids, they can be heaved up. Then one more property that you will learn about solids was that do not need a container to hold them. Then they do not flow. That is the heaved up one. These properties we have done regarding the solids. Let us learn the characteristics of the liquid using some investigation. That is our investigation 1.5. So we've taken you must have seen these glasses, wine glasses. Then a bowl. Then you must have seen this also. Certain perfumes are coming in the shape like this. So in the investigation 1.5, what we do? We are taking a conical cup. This is your conical cup, and this conical cup we are taking and filling water into it. We will observe that the shape taken up by water is the cone shape only. Okay, top surface is free, flat and free top surface. If you remember last class video, we had talked about free liquid surface. That for solids one more characteristic is there, that they can have any number of free surfaces. For the liquid we had only one free liquid surface, free surface. Now what? I will take this water that was in the conical cup and put in a bowl. We observe that once the water is flowing into the bowl, it is taking the shape of this bowl only, right? That means the flat surface will increase in the area, and now the shape of water is just like the shape of the bowl. You notice that the water flows into the bowl and takes the shape of the bowl. Again, still the top surface is free and flat. That means flat top free surface. Clear? Now what I am doing, the third thing is, we will take this water and into a small bottle. So in a small bottle we'll keep this now water. And now also when you are from transferring some bowl, the small bottle, this water flows and again take the shape of this water only. And again flat surface and free surface. So the top is flat and free. Okay. Don't you feel that the three observations we have got in this investigation are the three types of we can say apparatus or utensils, or we can say the three objects we have taken, the shape of all the objects are different, but it was the water which when kept in a conical flask took a conical shape, here a kind of a hemispherical shape, then the shape of the bowl, and then the shape of the bottle. That means, can we say one thing, that this liquid, we can say something for water, and that you can generalize for the liquids, that they take the shape of the container in which they are kept? Yes. So we can conclude that liquids take the shape of the container and have only one definite free surface. So conclusion is liquids take the shape of container and have only one definite free surface and have only one, mind the word, only one free surface. Is it clear to all? This was all about investigation 1.5. Now some other conclusion will derive from investigation 1.6. Let's see that also. So in the investigation 1.6, what are you doing? We have taken a disposable syringe. Markings are made here. Graduations, we are calling it. Now what are they taking? Take a disposable syringe. This is your disposable syringe. So we are taking disposable syringe and filling the half of syringe with water. Okay. This is the plunger. Okay. And this is a rubber cork. And here is water inside this. Water. So we are taking a disposable syringe and half filling that with water. So how do you fill water inside this? We'll take this syringe and this plunger is there. We'll move it upward. Means we'll draw it outward. When you draw it outward, what happens? Pressure inside the cylinder will fall and the water from outside will gush into this. Okay. When you study in class 8 about this one, working of common hand pump, that time you will understand better. But basically, when we are pushing the plunger up, basically we are decreasing the pressure inside this. This is common to the observation when you are sucking this lemon juice or cold drink with the help of a straw. Okay. So when we are pulling up the plunger, the water fills inside this one. And close the nozzle with a rubber cork. Then this is the nozzle. So this nozzle will be closed by rubber cork. So rubber corks are available in the labs. They are there. We are using the rubber corks with the tripod stand. Not tripod which are viewing in the video. Tripod stand is apparatus in the laboratory with which we are tying some. With the help of nut and all, we are tightening the test tubes and this beakers and all these things. Not we have for this some experiment, right? So this is a rubber cork. So we are pressing this nozzle against the rubber cork and then pushing the plunger down. Basically, can you understand what I am doing? By pushing the plunger down, will the water be? Will we apply some force on the water? Yes, but it's seen. How much force you apply on the water by pushing it down? Since the nozzle is not open, the nozzle is pressed against rubber cork, then what happens? We observe that the plunger does not move inwards. So how much force you apply, plunger will not go inside. What happens then? When the force is removed, plunger does not move backwards. And it is not like that. When you remove the force that you are applying, the plunger moves up. That means water was not compressed. You cannot compress it. Basically, when you are applying the force from the top on the plunger, means by applying the force of the plunger, you are basically applying a compressive force. So when this compressive force is being applied, it should compress the water, but this doesn't happen. So that only is the investigation 1.6 is there. In that syringe, when by applying the force on the plunger downwards, we try to compress it, but it is not getting compressed. And even on the removal of the force, the compressive force that we are applying on the plunger doesn't move upward also. So it stays in its position. Thus, the volume of water does not change. So volume of water does not change. Volume of water does not change. So since the volume of water does not change, what you can conclude? You can conclude that liquids do not change their volume when compressive force is applied. So liquids do not change their volume when compressive force is applied. Now this is another conclusion that we derive regarding the behavior of the liquids, that their volume is not changing even if we apply the compressive force. Now from this we can derive two conclusions for sure. In fact, there are 5 conclusions. What that conclusion is, that liquids have no definite shape, no definite shape, they do have a definite volume, third is what? No definite shape means they take the shape of the container in which they are kept. Only one free surface. Only one free surface. And this free surface is where? On the top of the vessel in which they are kept. Then it cannot be compressed. Cannot be compressed. Now one more thing is that they always need some container. They always need some container. Otherwise, they will start to flow. That means they need to be kept in some container only. And on the basis of this, we are defining the liquid. What is that? A material which has a definite volume but no definite shape and has only one free surface. So material which has no definite shape, but has a definite volume and has only one free surface is called a liquid. So point number 1, 2, 3 combined together is the definition of liquid. So no definite shape, having a definite volume and have only one free surface which exists at the top of the vessel in which they are kept is called as a liquid. I think so we have thoroughly told about the characteristics of a liquid. Regarding the other characteristics of gases, or we'll start with gases in the next class.